Hello everyone, I'm Charles, as you know.
I'm Darrin.
And this is the guy I was telling you about. He's from Palm Coast. And we've been hanging out, I think, since October.
Yep, October.
And we've become pretty close since, like, well, especially, like, New Year's. You know, we've been hanging out almost every weekend, playing music. That's fun. That's really good. And I think it's good for both of us, in a trans perspective. You know, like, we hang out and, you know, talking with him, I kind of remember, you know, how difficult it was and the difficulties I faced and how my life was before I moved to the queer bubble of San Francisco. And then, you know, when he talks to me, he can kind of get the perspective what to face later on. So I think it's good for both of us. We talk a lot about San Francisco.
Yes.
And it's really hard transitioning here.
Oh,
you know.
It's very difficult to transition here.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've run into so many problems. I'll just say that I am new to transitioning, obviously. I am pre-T and pre-op. So obviously, that is, that brings on its own, own challenges. I am read as female all the time here. Almost all the time. I am ma'amed constantly everywhere I go.
But not as much as when you're with me.
Not as much as if I'm with him or with any other trans guy. I usually get, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Which is interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting. But like, if I'm by myself, I get ma'amed all the time. You know, I've been to like 2 different therapists here, and honestly, it's hard to find a therapist down here who actually knows anything about like trans anything, because a lot of them like deal with like, you know, like if you have like a drug problem or an alcohol problem or whatever, like they know how to deal with that. But when you say, well, I think I'm transgendered, they're like, oh, I don't know how to deal with that. Yeah,
you know, I had a therapist tell me there was no such thing, and then I was lucky to find an openly gay psychiatrist who took care of my stuff. But once again, like, I can't even afford to see him now because I don't have insurance, and you know, Darrin doesn't have insurance that like a lot of doctors would take or whatever. So it's kind of like dealing with that. And you know, I've known guys that can't even transition here because they can't drive 3 hours to the doctor. But you know, we were lucky to get Darrin in with my doctor, Dr. Horseman. So he actually has his appointment on the 14th.
On the 14th, which
will be our Valentine's Day date.
Yeah, it'll be a Valentine's Day date. It'll be the best Valentine's Day I've ever had.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And that's, you know, I had issues trying to find a doctor who would, you know, who would even see me for like less than $200.
Right.
And you know, the therapist
didn't have like a 7-month wait.
Right, they didn't have like a 7-month wait. Like I would probably be able to get in there even sooner. But, you know, with my financial issues, I had to wait till February. You know, like even as somebody, you know, who just, as I was going to therapy, you know, they want to charge me just to write the letter. Like
$60 alone to write the letter. Has anyone ever heard of that? Has your therapist tried to charge you separately? Because my therapist, and you know, I talked to Dr. Horseman about it, and he says it should be part of the whole, you know, therapeutic thing. And I think a lot of people get run around from therapists, and that's difficult.
Yeah, it's like a lot of gatekeeping. Like I told my therapist, well, honestly, like I started going to therapy. I'm like, I don't know if I'm trans. I might be. But then when I finally said, yes, this is what's making me much happier in my life, he still was like, well, I don't know, like, you still have to do this kind of thing. It was like a list of things I had to do.
Like, there's no checklist to be male or female, you know, whichever way you're transitioning.
But, like, these therapists are like, well, you have to come out to, like, you have to come out to everybody. You have to, like,
that's not always possible for everyone either. You have to consider each experience, and that's what I try to stress in all videos. Like, my experience is different, his experience is different. You know, you may get top surgery first, you may start T first, you may not want to start T, you may not want top surgery, or you know, you may never get a history. Like, everyone's trans experience is different. It has to be tailored to them, and the same thing with their therapy. You know, like some people are going to need a year of therapy, some might need only 3 months, some are ready right out the door, but like, just to have a standard checklist for everyone just doesn't make sense. Yeah, and you know, it was like so difficult. And then like this other therapist, because I know a couple other trans guys here, and they're like, no, I go and I see this other guy, and you know, he's real great. So I made an appointment with him, and I saw him, and he was like so much like really really money hungry, and like really about like, I'm not even gonna see you, like I don't want you emailing me asking me questions, only email me if you want an appointment. It's like really weird, like not very available as a therapist.
Yeah,
you want a therapist that cares.
Right. And then the other therapist I saw before him, like I would email him, like he's like, yeah, email me if you have questions. I'm like, oh great. And then like he would never write me back. It was like really impossible to get a hold of him.
Why do you have email?
Right, it's like, why even bother? So I mean, I've faced so many issues, you know, down here, like here in Florida, and just, you know, going through so many difficult things. So
we've talked about how difficult it is to like medically transition in Florida, but also socially it's tough. We touched on a little bit of that with the man, but like, it's just hard, even just like, you know, I talked about us being kind of outsiders, different, you know, we're musicians, we're different, you know, we are not God-loving businessmen, you know, with 3.5, you know, want to be married with kids right now. You know, we're different. We have this alternative kind of lifestyle, you know, more of a queer lifestyle, and just the way we live and who we are. There's just not many of us, you know. We were out skating earlier, and I don't know, the people here, you know, you get looks, and I don't know. But, you know, it's nice to live in a place like San Francisco, like I call it the city of misfits, or it's a lifestyle city where, you know, we can be ourselves and not only be trans, but it's just nicer socially. Like here, people have told me, like, that I'm possessed by demons because, you know, at the time I was a lesbian, or because I'm trans, or I'll never be a real man, and, you know, you get your fair share.
Yeah, I get my fair share.
Haven't you been some Christian people say?
Oh, yeah, actually, I used to be, you know, I'll give a little background. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was like really depressed, and I was starting to realize that I liked women, and my friends were like, no, you know, that's sinful, that's bad. So I became the opposite. I became like this really, like, you know, conservative Christian. Like, I'm not gay, I'm not trans, I'm not any of these things, obviously. But, you know, throughout that whole time, I was very depressed, I was angry, I was like mad at everybody. But all that to say, you know, I've had my Christian friends that I've had a few stop talking to me because I came out, and they're like, no, we can't, you know, like, you either repent or we're just not being like, yeah, I know, it's like, I know,
and it's so silly, it's such a, they don't understand it, you know, you're going to hell, you're going to repent, and you know, that's not what Christianity is about, you know, like, being judging and hateful, and, you know, I don't know, so they're not being very good Christians.
No, and I've had people, like, who are, like, pretty tolerant. Like, I have, you know, this one friend I've been friends with since I've been in high school, and she's, like, really tolerant. But I know, like, deep down inside, she's like, well, this person will burn in hell because they're trans, or because they're gay, or because they're not this, you know, conservative Christian.
Right, right.
And so, like, all my church friends that I had, like, they've all, like, most of them have deleted me off Facebook because they didn't like all the queer stuff I was posting, or, you know, all these issues. I have, you know, a couple of family issues as well, because my family, you know, like, everybody's down here in the South, and, you know, I hear my female name all the time. I hear, oh, she this, she that, you know, they don't even acknowledge my aunt actually told me that I'll never be a real man because I don't have a dick.
And that's kind of a prevalent thing among just, I mean, haters tell me that all the time, or you don't have XY chromosomes, you'll never be a man. It's like being a man is not about the penis, it's not about the chromosomes, right? And it's so annoying, like, I think she said something like, you know, when you came out on Facebook, I think she said something like, just because you're in a garage doesn't make you a car.
Yeah.
And it's just
like,
that kind of thinking.
Yeah,
like,
it's like the idea
but it's just like, no, but, you know, that's what we have to fight as people, as this community, is those ideas and notions. And that's why I'm still vlogging, you know, 6 years. No, I'm not going through these, like, really heavy physical changes and stuff, but it's still, like, you know, you get this crap that you have to deal with, or dating, or whatever it is, or people finding out, you know.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Like, I'm not even trying to find a girlfriend right now because I'm so early. I'm so focused on transitioning that
it's hard. It's hard
very
to
hard.
Through
it's hard
beginning
to
part two. Yeah, even now, you know.
Yeah, even, you know, just because we're not, you know, these, you know, 6'5", you know,
driving penis cars.
Driving penis cars, like 6'5", like bio dudes with like huge dicks, and it's like,
you know, that, or not, you know, but like that's what they're, you know, like being a man is being rough and not having emotions, and, you know, I don't know, just this stereotypical masculinity was so hard to transition here, and that's why, you know, we want to go to San Francisco.